Hey, Flockers, we are live with Max. Hope everybody is having a good day. Oops. Just fighting with the lighting here a little bit. Woo! Not quite what I had in mind, Max. Apparently I loosened that off last time. There we go. Yeah, so ornithology dude joins us with a buck. And Max, did you know that there might be snacks today? Yeah. Yeah, ornithology dude, I was really sad to hear about Czech. Hey, there's Einstein and Marcy, Tango, Doris. Oh, Marco, sorry. Connie and Greenbird. Every bird is joining in. So Max knows that I was in the kitchen cooking. And everybody here can probably guess what's ready for the snacks. Max, not the chair. Hey. The chair is not for eating. Of course there's a sneaky nibble. Wouldn't be Max without a sneaky nibble. So Max, do you want Big Fist in a cone? In a cone today? Okay. Let's see what we've got over here. And let's see if it's cool enough to dish out, more importantly. Not just what we have, but is it edible yet? Because Max, part of the cooking is the cooling. Letting it cool to a temperature where you can eat it without burning your crop. So Max, I did something special with your eggies today. And Max is either going to love this or he's going to absolutely hate it. Okay, oopsies. What are you doing all the way up there, bud? Oops. What I put down, let's try that again. Oh, I know, buddy. Yeah, I tripped on the light source. Oh, I'm taking the wrong bit of light source. That doesn't work. Oh, my bird. Okay, Max, I need to scoot in here for a minute so I can put down some paper. Can I put down some paper? Well, this is so that we can eat without getting food everywhere. Make it like a bib. Max, wait. Maxwell. Hey, Max, what have I got? Have I got eggies? Do you see the eggies? Yeah. Okay. And these are not just eggies. These are eggies in a cone with red pepper and corn. Yeah, you just couldn't wait, could you, buddy? Those good? I think Tico might like some too. Okay, Tico, do you want eggies in a cone? Go ring your bell. Ring your bell if you want it. Yes. Can you say I want? I want. I want. Okay. Thank you, Tico. Yeah, that's good stuff. Is that good, Max? Hello, Sue and Tiffany, Linda. Yes, Linda, Iggy's in a cone is the best way to start the stream. Max certainly enjoys it. I'm just gonna let him focus on his beak fist for a little bit because that's really what he wants to do. When there's snacks, he does not care about anything else in the universe. And today he's interested in the cone as well. Okay, Max, I got more. Since you ate the cone, these are Iggy's on a fork. Take the fork. Fork. Thank you. Almost handed it back to me. So very close. Are there more Iggy's on a fork for you, buddy? No, climb up. Climb up. We'll discover if there's more Iggy's on a fork. Oops. There's a fork. Yeah, Max hasn't quite figured out the bit about cutlery where you don't have to put your claws on the food to hold on to it. But I mean, it is efficient. It is efficient. Hello, Brian. Yeah, Max knows what he wants. These are kitty forks from IKEA. They're plastic, they're kid safe. They're built to have babies stick them in the mouth, so you know that they are fairly safe. They're not brittle, so you know the chance of it snapping and turning into a shank is very low, especially when he's eating off of it. And they seem to do well, so why not? Better than having somebody bending my metal forks, right? The sound of happy munching. Okay, can you hand me the fork? Thank you. That was really good, Max. Usually he hands me the fork by throwing it on the ground. Here, Roman, go fetch. Okay. We have one more bit on the fork for you. You can really see all the red pepper on there. Oops. Hey, Tico. Is that good? Yeah, a sound of munching, happy munching. That's almost the idea of the utensil buddy. Oops. Oh, you were supposed to hand it to me. Okay. That good? Max, are you still hungry? I got little bits over here. I added so much corn and pepper that the eggie did not hold together as well as it could have when I cooked it. So I've got a whole bunch of little scraps in. I just used a little microwave cookie thing for the eggs. And just putting the scraps in the cone. Because otherwise these can't be held. You want more? You want more? There you go. Spoiled bird. Sorry, Tico, all gone. Uh-oh, Tango, what's your Uman doing? Peaches? We don't have any peaches over here. We do have watermelon. Oh, ornithology dude, have a great afternoon. Or is it evening over there? I always miss the time differential. Oh, what do you think, Max? Is that tasty? Starting with snacks is always a good idea. think they're all gone. Okay, can I come over and clean up the paper? Can I take the papers? And the board. There you go. Now you have a toy box to play with. That's right. What you gonna do with that, Max? Got a block. Yeah, Tango, we tend to wait until things go on sale as well. Max, are you being a goose? Did you just do what I think you did? You dropped a block on the floor so you could go down to the floor. You did that deliberately. Sorry, Flock. It's going to be a few minutes until I'm down there with the tripod. So you see what little scamp did? He threw that block on the floor deliberately, so he had to go down and get it. I mean, that was a planned shenanigan if I've ever seen one. Whoop. Just gonna shove that out of the way. Yeah, floor play. Yeah, Connie, we actually bought a whole large seedless watermelon from the store. I know it was seedless. It had the sticker that said seedless when we got home. And the first thing I do when I get something like that home is I scrub the outside. I wash fruit and vegetables, rinds, as if I'm going to eat as if it's an apple I'm going to eat. It's probably a good comparison. So I washed it, I peeled off the sticker, I know it said seedless. Lots of black seeds in it. I was also kind of disappointed. I think, we remember certain fruits and vegetables from when we were younger as having more taste. Every time I buy a watermelon, it happens. It's like, ooh, watermelon, that'll be good. I like the taste of watermelon. And then you realize it sort of tastes like water. Not as sweet, not as good as you remember. Max prefers his watermelon cut into smaller pieces. Tico likes his on the rind. Yeah, Connie. It's all about pesticides. And Tico, with foods like watermelon and squash, he enjoys chewing at the rind. This is part of the game for him, so I'm not going to take away his game. Yeah, so Max Tico actually really likes it when squash go on sale. Usually in the fall, just towards the end of the season, you'll see a whole bunch of squash go on sale. Usually about 50 cents a pound versus the usual $2-3 a pound that you see. And I usually stock up on a bunch, get home, think, wow, I should have bought more. And Tico is in parrot heaven because he gets acorn squash and spaghetti squash and, you know, just a little bit of everything. And that's the entry into pumpkin season. Yeah, Greenbird, your Uman knows how to take care of you. Yeah, with corn, last time I went to the store, they didn't have any. The corn, now, living in Alberta, where we have Tabor corn and fresh corn on the cob growing in the fields, this is embarrassing. The corn that I just fed the birds in their omelet came fresh out of the freezer, frozen corn. Yeah, it's time for me to do another grocery run. You know I'm out of groceries when I start reverting to the freezer for frozen corn and whatnot. Yeah, Max, you're really liking those blocks, aren't you? That's okay. There's worse things you could be doing. I've had a few people say, wow, he goes through blocks quickly. It must be a waste. Well, I feel it's a waste if I spend $50 on a hanging toy with 20 blocks and he goes through them in 20 minutes. I mean, the idea of a parrot toy is that it's there to be destroyed, but, you know, you kind of want more than 20 minutes out of a $50 toy. But if I give Max a hanging toy, he'll ignore it. He will ignore it and ignore it and ignore it. He really prefers foot-held, like you're seeing here with his wooden blocks. So I just buy a whole box of blocks. I was actually cutting my own blocks for a while, and then I decided, you know, for the cost of a box of blocks, yeah, okay, I'm just going to buy a box. These ones do have holes in them, and they're really built to be toy makers' parts. Hole doesn't bother me too much. And they are colored. Colored's fun. Tico sometimes picks by color, and he does like to play the color game a lot more than Max does. And Max, he's just concerned that they have wood that he can chew at. But what he does with these blocks is, you'll notice that the first breakdown on the block is, let's just chop it and separate it into these longer pieces. Then the second round, he goes back to each of those pieces and starts shredding them smaller and smaller and smaller. Inside of his cage with these pieces, if he still has them left over at the end of the stream, I'll pop them into his cage. He'll play with them. He'll make music on the side of his cage with them. He has his own ideas about what he wants to do. Oh, that green one's not behaving, is it? Poor Max. There. Is that better for light? So for the light setup, I do have a ring light on a big light stand. I mean, doesn't everybody have one of those standing in their living room? But for the alcove that I use for the streams, which helps me keep Max in one spot, so I'm not chasing him all over the house, and it also gives a relatively clean background, you know, I did need a little bit of extra light. Plus, when we're indoors, you know, variable lights from house lights don't work quite as well. So one thing I was hoping to do with today's stream, I was thinking do it half inside and then pop on a harness and do the other half, switch to cellular and just go for a walk around the complex. But unfortunately, I woke up and the outdoors looks and smells like a campfire. The smoke from the forest fires is back. Air quality is only a 2, but it's sort of that sickly yellow and you can't see too great. So I figure it's probably going to be a 6 by the time the 11 o'clock forecast comes out. It's, you know, we've definitely had smoke season here, and with the sensitivity of parrot lungs, if it's smoky, we don't go outside for long, and going for a walk is not a great idea. So we are staying in. But I don't know if anybody caught this, but what we did twice this week, on, oh dear, and you can help me out if I get my dates wrong, because apparently the days are mushing into each other. I think it was Tuesday night, we did a Facebeak live stream walking through the complex. And then on Wednesday night, we did a YouTube live stream walking through the complex. These ones were unannounced, they were unplanned, and it was just about let's go for a walk. And you know, those are always kind of fun to do too. You know, those ones are bonus in addition to the daily videos. And we also posted a couple of shorts this week. So quite happy with how the channel is doing. You know, certainly we'd love it if more people were watching some of our videos, but it's a slow and steady climb. You know, when I look at some of the other bird videos out there, the other parrot streams and the other channels, I think that we do have a lot of value. I think people out there really do love Max, and Instagram, we have, what, I think 56,000 flockers there now. So I think, you know, Max certainly is loved. We just may not get as many views on YouTube on our daily videos, and that in part is YouTube's algorithm. So if anybody wants to help me out with that, all you need to do is when you see the video, watch it from start to finish, hit like, comment, and watch another one of our videos from there, whatever's suggested, just bounce through and just show YouTube that, hey, you know, there's actually demand for these videos. And of course, I can't stress this enough, share the videos to a friend. I mean, that always helps out as well. But it has been an exciting year for YouTube. We went, I guess this was in December, we went to a more frequent posting schedule, and we now have Monday to Friday videos. We started, you know, we've got the regular live stream that's been going on, I think for about a year now. We've been doing the Saturday lives, a little over a year maybe, and they seem to be really, really well taken. We've managed to monetize, and I'd like to thank everybody. When you watch the ads with the videos, that contributes, your super chats contribute, all of that really, really helps out. But the really, really exciting thing for monetization for me is, Max, no chewing on the paper. No, you got wood. The really exciting thing for me about monetization is Max is now paying the subscription costs of things like Creative Cloud, which is the software that we used for editing our videos. So it's very, very exciting to see that. Oh my goodness, I just noticed we got a super chat. Thank you, Tango Elliott. Max, send me some homemade toothpicks. Tango, send us your address. Lots of homemade toothpicks. I just noticed I missed some comments here. Yeah, but no, it is really, really exciting though that things like the subscription to Creative Cloud, which includes Premiere, which we use for all of our video editing, is now covered by Max. He's paying for some of his own toys and treats, and you know, we don't, you know, obviously this is not what we do for a living. We wouldn't be able to pay the rent, but it is pretty cool that, you know, we're at that stage. So I'm very, very excited about that. Thank you again, Tango. And thank you for everybody who's doing things to support our channel. And, you know, it's not all about the money. You know, if you don't want to hit, you know, super chats are great. But I mean, you know, even sharing out videos helps us out a great, great deal. So, you know, we appreciate all of the flockers out there. Yeah, Max. Uh-oh, Connie says she's got a lot of humidity. Oh yeah, every bit is kind of cool. it's, we sort of feel, Max feels like people are buying him a cup of coffee, the proverbial cup of coffee. It's, it is kind of cool. But yeah, Max, is that fun over there? Hey, Amanda. Oh, Amanda, I'm always impressed when people remember my name. By the way, for spelling of my name, no H. Yeah, Sue just says to Doris, please reach out to Nicole for my email address if you ever want recipes or just say hi. And I'll remind everybody on the stream, you've got my email address, maxmoluccan@gmail.com. That's not a secret. It's attached to the stream. If you want to be in contact with one of our regular flockers, send me a quick note, and if I have their email address, I'll check with them first. And if they say it's okay, then I'll connect you guys, and you can chat a little bit offline. I think it's so super cool that we've got so many people building up friendships outside of the channel. And another option for chatting, of course, is Discord. We do have a Discord server. Info is in the description of the video. Discord, for those of you who are not familiar, sort of came out of the gaming world, and I think it was aimed to a little bit of a younger demographic. Once you get used to it, it's actually not bad. I find it's really a cool way to use as a messaging platform. It reminds me a bit of some of the older, and I'm going to date myself here, but I'm sure everybody remembers the old bulletin boards and whatnot, where you could post and you could chat and you could share, something similar to that. So that's there if anybody wants to hop on there as well. Oh my goodness, who have we got joining us? I forgot my second device upstairs, so sometimes I'm bumping the camera when I'm scrolling. What's going on here? Yeah, Amanda, never a problem. Cheryl says her upstairs is terrible. No air conditioning, and we have to close the windows because of the smoke. Cheryl, we don't have air conditioning here either. I've been keeping an eye out for a portable unit. This summer has been terrible. We've been record-setting a number of days. We've had record-setting heat waves, all-time top heat. The number of 30 plus Celsius days has just been ridiculous. Today it's supposed to get, I think, to 33. Alexa, what's today's forecast?
Currently, in Calgary, it's 27 degrees Celsius with partly sunny skies. Today, you can expect mostly sunny weather with a high of 33 degrees and a low of 14 degrees.
So we're going up to 33 degrees. Alexa, what's 33 Celsius in Fahrenheit?
33 degrees Celsius is 91.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
So 33 is 91 and a half degrees Fahrenheit. So that probably doesn't sound too bad for those of you who live in the south, but remember, we're up in Calgary. It's, days over 30, we usually only get a few of them a year. This year, it is amazing how many hot days we've had. All of the air conditioner installers are sold out. They're booking well into the fall. You probably noticed on some of our streams outside, one of our neighbors does have an air conditioning unit. And I can tell you, I've been looking at that with an awful lot of envy. I've been keeping an eye out for some of the portable units. Now, according to our condo bylaws, we're not allowed to have the window air conditioning, the boxes that hang outside the window. And being on the board, I kind of have to comply by the bylaws. We do have a few people I've noticed have hung them. But we are allowed to have the ones that just vent to the window. So that's the direction I'm going to go. But everybody's sold out. I did find one unit that was in stock, and I was really, really excited. I added a couple to a shopping cart, but I took a closer look at them. And the comments on the unit were that it sounds like a 747 at takeoff. they couldn't watch TV while it was running. It was exceedingly loud, and certainly when I compared the decibel level of that one to similar units were all sold out, huge difference. It was also rated, oh geez, I think it was 1600 BTU. So I mean, you know, a good sized unit that could keep a floor of this place cool. You know, we're in a townhouse and we do have 2 floors. Well, 3 if you count the basement, but the basement's really just the garage and storage. But two floors is cool, so we'd need a couple of them. But the comment said the box says that, but the unit itself creates so much heat, and it says right on the unit that it is only about a 6,000 BTU. So great, a couple hundred square feet. So obviously we didn't pick up that one, but we are keeping an eye out for them. Doing such a good job over there, Max. So we have Lourdes joining us from Paraguay. A bok to you, Lourdes. Now, quick note, when I'm pronouncing your name, if I ever mispronounce it, please let me know. Hey, Max, what you doing? I think you need a quick distraction. Oh, I got an idea. This will be fun on the floor. Yes, Tico, I hear you, but I'm over here right now. Max, rather than shredding that piece of paper, how about I get you another piece of paper to shred? You have something to hide under, maybe? Is that what you wanted? The difference is I'd like to have paper down on the floor to protect the floor, and if Max poops. The floor that we have here is a laminate floor, and it does have cracks in between each piece of laminate where it joins. So moisture is not a good thing to have in those cracks. Yeah. Got a paper toy. I also don't want Max to notice a crack because he'll try to beak at it, and he can be very clever with that beak. Not in the mood to be replaced in laminate flooring. So now Max has his little cave he's quite happy with. Let's see what else we've got here for comments. Yeah, absolutely, Tiffany. Chat rooms. There we were talking about Discord. Glad to see you, Amanda. Oh, what do we got here? Chris is joining us. I'm a little bit behind on my comments. Doris, Max's Gmail account name is the same as the channel name, Max the Moluccan. Just run all 3 words together at gmail.com. Yeah. Cheryl says she's got a portable AC. It's downstairs with the birds. She's been down there in her chair the last few nights. Oh, absolutely. When we had the really bad heat wave earlier in the year, what was that, month ago now? Yeah, days are running into each other. I was working down here on this level with the birds. The upstairs was just ridiculous. You know, it was incredibly warm. Got lots of spray baths. They got lots of ice. We went outside and played in the sprinkler. You know, anything to stay cool. But the really bad thing when we had that heat wave was not just the heat during the day, but the fact that it did not cool off enough at night to cool down the house. So the house warmed up, and the next day it warmed up more. And the next day it warmed up more. So definitely not great. I was definitely thinking about some friends with air conditioning and thinking, hey, can I bring the birds over? You're in an apartment building, I'm sure your neighbors won't mind. Yeah, every so often Max stops to check that he still has feet. I just think it's adorable. Yep, I've got feet. Let's see what else we got in comments. Yeah, Vancouver's had a lot of hot weather as well. Cheryl, have you been getting any of the smoke from the fires, or has that mostly been blowing to the east? Because we're certainly getting it here in Alberta. So Tango's looking for AV and FP and Mookie and Barb. Yeah, we are missing a few people. But during the summer, people do end up with some plans. They do get busy. I don't, who else we're missing? Lucy and Linus. Miss Linus is not here. I know, I still think of the account with the original names. Is that fun, Max? Oh, Chris says that he was driving over the Park District National Park. Just got back. Yeah, when somebody drives through your wall, it is probably time to move. Tango is saying people got hit by lightning in New York. Tango, we know somebody, one of our flockers, was saying that here, I'm actually looking for crib notes. I wish I had some. I believe that they were down in Florida, and their farmhouse burnt down due to a lightning strike. Started a fire in the attic. Everybody got out okay, but just devastating. Certainly if you're out in the country, it's harder to get emergency services there in a hurry. I mean, even in the city, if there's a fire, especially with the way newer areas are built, if one house starts to burn, the fire department gets there, neighboring houses are going to have damage. Whether or not they catch on fire themselves, they're going to have a lot of water damage. A friend of mine had that happen to their place. They had a bit of melted siding and a lot of water damage, and they were out of their house for 6 months. Basically, until it had been remediated by insurance, they could not go back in just because of the water damage, risk mold and everything else. So yeah. Shane asks, would you ever give Max away? Absolutely not. Max is a family member. About the only time that I would consider rehoming Max would be, quite a bit in the future. If, say, I was too old to take care of him And Max is certainly the kind of family member that you basically provide for in your will. He's not just a pet. He is a family member. So much more than just a pet. Is that right, Max? Would you like a couple more blocks? Block Palooza. Oh, there you go. Tango floor play is fun, but it means we have to supervise carefully. Tango thinks we should start all videos on the floor. Oh my. It is kind of fun when Max is down here playing. And I do have angles set up a little bit better. I probably could use one of the smaller tripods if Max is going on the floor more often. My tripod, I've got slammed down as low as it goes, and I still have to angle it forward, so it is a bit unstable, just to make sure that I can see under the chair. If I didn't have it angled forward, you'd probably see a lot more of chair and a lot less of Max. Oh yeah, laminate is actually easy to deal with. My old place had hardwood, and my old place was built in the 60s, so it had the hardwood that you could refinish. And yeah, you didn't have the cracks that you have with laminate. You worry about it a little bit less, I think. Unfortunately, these days, when you buy hardwood, it's a laminate style hardwood. And when we bought this place, that really was not an option. When we bought this place, we actually bought brand new, and we could have waited for one of the units being built and had a bit more choice in terms of color of floor and cabinets and walls and what customizations we wanted. However, they did have a couple of end units that we looked at, this being one of them, and they were already built, and the benefit to that was I could negotiate a little bit harder on price. And that's exactly what I did. This unit has a number of really nice upgrades. It has the cabinets all the way up to the ceiling, has some really nice tile backsplash in the kitchen, upgraded sink, some upgraded lighting. It's got the box outs, which are, instead of going straight up, things like one of the bedrooms upstairs has sort of a box out which just juts out, gives a little bit more floor space. So it definitely had a lot of what we wanted, but that also meant that things like the floors were already in. So it is a bit of a trade-off, but I was quite happy with what was here. And even with customization, usually builders don't let you have just whatever you want. It's sort of, well, you pick from these packages, or you really pay through the nose. That looks like fun, Max. Let's see what else we got. So Sue says she's moving about an hour away from the city. Sue, I've sometimes thought about moving out of town myself, but when you work in town, it makes it harder. Although COVID has certainly brought about a change in work for many people, work-life balance, etc. The company I work for is located in Toronto. I'm obviously not. So I've been there over a year now and have never met any of my coworkers in person. The entire time their office has been closed due to COVID. But, it works. It works. So with the rise of remote work, I think that gets a lot easier for people. And I've heard some people, as offices start to open up, are actually pushing back and saying, hey, we actually want the flexibility to work from home. This is better for work-life balance. They can get more work done. Their commute's better. I mean, quite honestly, my commute, I put on a pair of slippers and I walk 5 feet. You know, the flock likes it too, don't you, Max? No, Max certainly loves chewing on those blocks. But they're an easy toy for him, relatively inexpensive, and he really seems to engage with them. So, you know, if he likes it, it's something he gets. One thing I'm going to mention about toy chewing for parrots is this is actually healthy behavior. Destroying toys, I mean, they're the ultimate destructo pets. It's a good toy if they can destroy it. It feeds into some of their natural drives for foraging and for chewing, keeping the beak in check, because certainly Max's beak can overgrow if it's left alone. But destroying toys is actually the behavior you want to see with birds. Another whole block? What I find fascinating is you'll notice that he goes with the grain of the wood when he tries to pull it apart. He gets his beak in and just wants to pry his way down. Yeah, I'd have to say wooden blocks were the best toy discovery I ever made for Max. And I wish I would have discovered them earlier on. I mean, you try to do your best for the bird. You buy expensive toys, you buy fancy toys. Nope, Max just wants blocks. Tico actually really likes blocks as well, and he'll chew on blocks more than he will a hanging toy. But I'd still say Tico's favorite toys are, he likes some of the foraging toys, although he can outsmart them very easily. He likes his bells as well, anything that jangles, and anything he can swing upside down and play with. Another block. Is that a good block, Max? Oh, my bird. Yeah, Tico, we'll get you something to drink later. Right now, I'm keeping an eye on Max. Can't go anywhere because he's too close to the baseboards. Yeah, Max would certainly like to chew on the baseboards given the opportunity. Needless to say, he's not going to get that opportunity because I really do not enjoy replacing baseboards. That was satisfying, wasn't it, Max? You got a whole sheet off. I'll get you some in a few minutes, Tico. I'm currently supervising your brother. Just look at that pile of blocks that Max has. What do we got for comments? I see Chris Gordon joined us. Sheen says Max reminds him of Gotcha. Yeah, there's a number of Moluccans on social media, and we definitely follow some of them too. And you know, we're the same in some ways, but we're also so very unique. You know, Max is quite different from some of our other Moluccan friends. One of the cool things about Max is that he is so much bigger physically than most other Moluccans. And you don't see a lot of pictures in context with Max, but when you do, you realize just how big he is. But that's okay, you know. Max is unique in some of his vocalizations. Not many Moluccans balk like a chicken. That's a Max thing. Yeah, but even the way that Max plays with things is a little bit unique. Q likes to shred wood as well, but her approach to shredding wood is a little bit different than Max. Everybody comes up with their own way of how to shred wood and how to build a nest. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Chris, we've got, our place here is relatively quiet. We are on a feeder road for the community. And as things get busier and we build up, there's actually a fairly major road going over. And if you watch Max's social media, you'll get the reference. Over by the cow field, the big road over there. Other side of the new construction, there's going to be a fairly major road going through there. So that one is going to probably take some of the traffic off of the road right in front of us. They've also put a number of lights on the road in front of which I appreciate, because it means you're going to slow down some of the traffic and they're going to pick other routes. Right now as well, we're missing an overpass, so you can only get onto one of the big highways running through the city by crossing through the community, either this community or the next one over. You can get onto it going one direction, but not the other direction. And that overpass, I think, is going to be done this fall, which I think will also reduce some of the cut-through traffic. But, you know, it's not too bad. You get some traffic going outside, not a big deal. Last night, one of my neighbors was having a party outside until late-ish. Didn't appreciate that. I mean, 2 a.m, don't have loud argument outside. But I mean, there wasn't fighting per se. There wasn't loud music, so I really couldn't do anything about it. You know, it wasn't something I could really put in a noise complaint on. Just some people outside having a good time. And I had the window wide open because I was trying to cool off the upstairs a bit. Oh my goodness, I've missed so many comments. I'm just going to scroll through to the bottom. apologize if I'm bumping the phone as I go. Yeah, I know I've missed some comments. If I've missed anything really important, any really important comments or any questions, please repost them. I forgot to bring down a secondary device, so I'm having to look at the main screen I'm taping on, and it is quite low to the ground, so didn't plan that one out well. Chris asked if we're going to have a Tico evening. Wasn't planning on it per se. You know, might do a pop up with him later in the week. Yeah, I've got some running around to do today. Have to stop in and see my parents. They're in the mid-80s and they do need some help with a number of things. They still live independently, which I guess during COVID is a good thing. I'd be much more concerned if they were in home, because that's where we seem to have a lot of outbreaks. But, you know, on the flip side, being an only child, it means, you know, you kind of have to support them and make yourself available. And, you know, I'd much rather do that, though, and keep them safe. So I've got that on the go. I do need to grab some groceries because we are down to frozen corn, and Max can't be happy about that. Got lots of apples. Still have lots of watermelon, but we need some veggies for the flock. I also have to do a bit of a cleanup. I discovered this morning, just before the stream, I had a number of little bugs climbing around. It's like, where the hell are these coming from? I then went in for a scoop of food and I just solved the problem. Unfortunately, I only have a fridge freezer, so I don't get the opportunity to freeze bird food when it gets here. In the winter, I tend to do a freeze just with a bucket of snow, bring that into the garage where it's pretty cool anyhow, and freeze it off there. But I don't have that opportunity during the summer. So I'm going to have to deal with the big bucket of parrot food. I'm probably going to take that outside, put it into some extra large Ziploc bags, then put those into some other bags and utilize the fridge freezer to freeze them independently. You know, it's not a bug that really has me that concerned, but I'd like to kill them all off before I end up with an infestation. And yeah, anybody who owns parrots or pets, they understand the annoyance of that. You know, sometimes I think I might get myself a small chest freezer just for the bird food. In my old house, I had a really big chest freezer, but it was not energy efficient and not easy to pull upstairs. So I left that one with the house. Yeah, that's right, Amanda. Apple cider vinegar, bug strips, and some say bay leaves keep bugs away. Chris says their neighbor has parrots too. Yeah, we actually have some pretty good neighbors right now. What I really appreciate, you know, Max has gotten to know the neighbors, and maybe that's why all the neighbors seem super friendly. It's because they get to meet Max. I mean, who wouldn't want to? But when we moved in, before we bought, the first thing we did is we sound tested between a couple of units. Since the neighboring unit to this one was already moved into, we went down to the other unit that we almost bought, because it's the same sound intonation between all of the units in here, really. It's a slightly different model. But we did some testing using a handheld fire alarm and decibel meter I wanted to see how much it cut down on the noise through the walls. Through the walls, great job. Through the windows, not so much. But through the windows, you'll hear babies crying, dogs barking, etc. You expect noise to go through windows, but between units, between walls, there's not, you know, sounds pretty good. And that's one of the reasons we bought new, was the new sound intonation standards were in place when this place was built. So better than some of the older townhouses. I understand from some of our neighbors who have the stacked bungalows, which is sort of one level stacked on top of one level, that they've got a lot of sound from the neighbors upstairs or downstairs. So I'm really glad side by side is the option I went with. But when I moved in, the first thing I did is I knocked on the neighbor's door and I just dropped off a letter from Max. And Max introduced himself, you know, explained that he might be a little bit scared moving to a new place, and that might mean he's going to do a bit more screaming, and he might be a little bit vocal, but, you know, introduced his pet Uman and Tico, and just said, you know, if I'm too noisy, please let me know. My Uman will work with you to do whatever she can to reduce the noise and deal with concerns. Here's her contact information. And then every time I saw the neighbor for the next couple of months, I checked in and said, hey, you know, I know Max sometimes screams at night. Is everything okay? And they kept on assuring me, absolutely, absolutely, not a problem. And sometimes I think even if there is a minor problem with sound from a neighbor, when you know the neighbor's concerned about it, it bothers you a lot less. You know, I know certainly if the neighbor was being loud and they didn't care, it would grate on me a lot more than if the neighbor did care. But we got an end unit because I figured if I had to do something about sound intonation, I at least only had one wall to worry about here. So that also went into the, you're not going to chew on your roof. That also went into the rationale when we picked up this place. Yeah, Max, what you got? Look at all that wood. Oh, my bird. You sure made a mess. And he is quite pleased with himself for making the mess. Oh, let's see, what am I missing here on comments? So Tango says that he barks at the squirrels loudly. Your neighbors love that? You do not? Yeah, Connie, Max is definitely beginning to run low on blocks, but we're also running towards the end of the stream. I think I'm going to let it run for a couple more minutes just while Max is finishing off on his current block, see if there's any more comments or anything before we call it a day. Are you going to play with your ball, your jingle ball? Would you like your jingle ball? I'm going to reach over. I'm going to step over here. All right, we're going to end off with some action. Yes, your jingle ball. Well, flockers, I would like to thank everybody for hanging out with me this Saturday morning. Lots of videos coming up this week, lots of fun. That's the usual max attack all week. I don't know how much we'll get outside. Depends how long the smoke hangs out and depends on the heat. But I hope everybody stays happy, healthy, and has an absolutely wonderful, wonderful week. A huge shout out, thank you again to Tango. And Tango, if you send us your address, we'll hook you up with some specialty toothpicks straight from Max. Yeah, that one there, Max? All right. Well, everybody, have a great week. Buck, buck.